I have one goal of today's video, and that is for you to share more of your valuable content. Give away more of your secrets.
You want me to do what?
Tell your customers how to solve their problems in such good detail. If they follow your content and your advice, they can solve it all on their own. And I promise if you do that, you will increase your sales. If you liked today's video, be sure to like it, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss future content. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. We personally respond to them and we love talking to you. A very common fear I hear when working with our clients is that if they put out too much information, if they share their secrets, their secret sauce to their business, what's going to happen is that their customers are going to solve their own problems. They're not going to hire them. Or maybe their competitors will see how they're doing work, they're going to copy them, and they're going to run out of business. This is a very common mindset, and of course, it kind of makes sense at a face value.
Yes, I'm following.
But if you've been in business long enough, you know that the how-tos, the blueprints, the guides, that's not really the magic. It's actually the work you do, the way you do it, and you successfully executing it that makes all the difference. And if anything, if you're providing value and educating your audience and becoming that favorite teacher that we always talk about, that's going to help you build trust. And when it comes time for them to actually make a purchase, you'll be the top of that list of vendors. So in my mind, there's no such thing as giving away too much information. I truly believe in that philosophy of becoming that favorite teacher. So people think about your products or your service or your industries. They think of you as a go-to expert because they see your content being posted on a daily basis on social media. They're watching your YouTube videos. They're subscribed to your newsletter. They're getting all this helpful information from you. So you have become that trusted big authority in your industry. In today's video, I want to break down first the myth of giving away too much information and how it'll hurt your business, and then share some ways that actually giving away lots of information will help your business. So again, let's start with the myth that if you give away too much information, you will lose business. And again, this whole fear comes from the fact that if you produce a how-to guide on how to solve this problem, again, in my world, let's talk about digital marketing or SEO, right? If I create a guide of how to create content for SEO, or if I create a guide of how to be successful on LinkedIn, yes, somebody could follow it and they wouldn't hire me, they wouldn't join our community, we wouldn't be an advising client of ours. But here's the thing, the people that are going to download that guide anyways and do it themselves, they're going to do it themselves anyways. The people who want the expert help are going to download that guide and think, this was super helpful. This person knows what they're doing. They would be the perfect person for me to hire for my business to make me successful. I think about that with our own business even, right? So I have an MBA. I've taken lots of accounting classes. I actually enjoy those classes. But when it comes to our business, I outsource the taxes and the payroll, all that kind of stuff, because that's not my wheelhouse. And I know there are people that do that every single day who can do it better than me. These are the customers that you want in your business. Yes, they will consume your content. Yes, they'll be educated by you, but they will see you as a trusted authority, not someone to take content ideas from and go do it themselves. This fear that giving away too much information or sharing your secrets will put you out of business instead of actually help you grow your business is all a fixed mindset. It'll keep you small if you let that fear, that little voice in your head tell you not to do it. I promise you that by becoming that trusted authority or that favorite teacher, as we say, that will help position you for success. So let's break down those 3 reasons why this type of content really helps you grow. So reason number 1 is that this type of content can give you the best free sample. So what I mean by this, pretend you go to a bake shop and you go to the bakery and they offer you a really delicious piece of cake. You're gonna think, wow, that was delicious, that was super moist and good, the frosting was tasty. Next time I wanna buy a cake for a birthday, an anniversary, whatever, I'm going to buy it from this cake shop because the sample was so good, it provided an example of the kind of value that you can get from them. Now imagine that baker had a more fixed mindset and they were afraid of that, right? So they don't want to give you cake because if you eat the cake, you might be satisfying your sweet tooth in a shop and then you're not going to buy those cookies from the cart.
I am full.
Of course, this seems ridiculous when we think about it from a bakery perspective, but when we think about our actual B2B businesses and our services, it's the same thing. If you can give your customers a great example, a great free sample of what it's like to work with you, they're going to think that was super valuable. Now just imagine if I actually bought their services, how much value I can get out of them. They see it as a direct correlation. And if your samples, if your content is weak or diluted or not going to help them actually be successful in that exact moment they're looking for information, they're going to subscribe that same thought pattern to your business. They're going to think, if I buy from that company, are they actually going to provide value? Do they know what they're talking about? Can they actually solve my problems? So this free sample is really, really important. And the more you see it as a free sample, and actually the more you think, how can I jam pack as much value as possible into this blog post, into this video, into this guide, in this webinar, whatever it is, the more value you can provide up front from the customer's perspective, the more likely they're going to think if they buy from you, you will help them be successful. So do not downplay the importance of a good, successful free sample. Reason number 2 is that good, helpful content builds trust. And of course, this is a no-brainer, right? When we look at people who show up on our newsfeed on a regular basis, or we subscribe to their newsletters, over time, the more we get that slow drip of value from them, the more likely we're going to see them as trusted experts. This is at the foundation of our favorite teacher framework and the work we do from our consulting perspective. And that is creating consistent educational content positions you as a trusted expert in your industry. And when it comes time to actually pick a vendor, yes, there are things like scope of work and timeframes and budgets, but I'm sure you've experienced this yourself. More likely than not, your prospects are going to pick their decision on their vendor mostly based on emotions of who they want to work with, based on that person and their expertise, but also based on what they've actually seen from that person doing, whether it's speaking engagements or content they've created. That's going to be the emotional driver of, I got to work with that person. We hear it all the time in our business that the people that come to work with us, they've been watching our YouTube videos for a while. They've been following us on LinkedIn for a long time. And they will cite things they saw 6 months ago or 9 months ago and say, hey, that was super helpful when you did that. But now, of course, when their need becomes super urgent, they're going to pick us. And the only way to do this is to give up good information. If everything you put is just simple platitudes that are spat out via ChatGPT, that's not going to stand out. That's not going to position you as an expert. But if you talk about actual problems that you are solving, you create helpful guides, you do a webinar that is not a sales pitch, but it's actually an educational presentation, that's the kind of stuff that'll earn trust.
I cannot think, but I trust you.
And reason number 3 is that just because someone can do it themselves doesn't mean they will. So I said this earlier, talking about my accounting perspective, right, in my business, but this really is true. And that is, if you provide the educational content for someone, they're not going to do it themselves. And if they are going to do it themselves, they're not the right fit for you. So you want to focus on those customers that are actively going to purchase a product or a service like yours. So another good example of this is that you can go on YouTube right now and watch a bunch of different videos on personal fitness. I could go and create my own weightlifting program and watch YouTube videos on how to squat, how to deadlift, whatever. But at the end of the day, if you really want to get good at it, you're going to hire a personal trainer, or you're going to follow a fitness program that a professional put together. So just because you can do it yourself doesn't mean you will. Again, when it comes to fitness, if I'm going to pick a fitness program, it's going to be from someone that I see creating YouTube videos or Instagram reels and providing super good tips when it comes to fitness, and think, that person knows what they're talking about, I want to hire them. Even though I could follow a program that they're kind of putting out there, at the end of the day, I want them helping me directly. The same thing happens with plumbing, with electrical work, or with business. You provide the blueprint, that builds a confidence, and they hire you to do it for them. So I want you to think about your content. What are you holding back? Are you too afraid to put out there the how-to information, the guides, the blueprints, the secret sauce for your business? Are you operating from a place of fear where you're afraid if you put it out there, someone's going to do it themselves, a competitor's going to see it, and you're going to lose all your business? If that's your mindset, I want you to shift it right now. Putting out educational information, sharing all your secrets is the best way to attract the right customers, and that is the way that you will expand your reach, build authority, and ultimately grow your sales.